morning. Happy Thursday to everybody. This is Mornings with Michael in the afternoon for information and educational purposes only. It is your responsibility to do your own due diligence if it makes sense for you. Let's share the screen, go to our word of the day. The word of the day is absquatulate, to leave abruptly. Getaway car was ready and waiting to absquatulate. So there's our word of the day. Let's move on to our heat map. Our heat map is not coming up right away here. Let's just move on. We're going to go to the news of the day. We'll bring up our charts. Here's a chart of TORM. As you can see, it's in a base or a box formation, keeps bouncing up and down in the box, and had a gap down yesterday and it filled the gap today. So that is TORM. We're going to continue to watch that. Also in the gas transportation pipeline, had a gap down yesterday here to the 50-day moving average, got a gap up today. So there we have that. Let me see if our heat map is ready. And there's the bell. So let's take a look at our heat map. Looks to be ready. Share our screen. Here's our heat map. Big downturn in Apple. They're being sued by the Department of Justice. All the other techs were up except for ACN. Most everything was up. Tesla was down. Berkshire Hathaway was down. So there you have that. And this annoying pop-up on Zoom is getting in the way. Let me just bring up our annuity. There's a particular annuity that is paying 45% bonus right now, and you can still invest in the markets and without any risk. So it goes up the step, goes up the step, goes up the step. You do not lose any money, and it beats index investing by about 5%. If you want to learn more about that, please contact us. And let's go to our screens. Screen has disappeared for a moment. See if it'll come back. Here we go. Let's take a look at the dollar index. Dollar index bounces back today. So I would assume silver has a strong pullback, pulls back to the 10-day moving average. Gold, not as vicious a pullback, but it does pull back. Arrow Copper holds pretty steady. Look at our other copper ETF index is pulling back a little bit. Southern Copper holding steady. FCX actually up slightly. Vale pulling back. BHP tried to move higher, pulling back, and finally Rio. Screen is a little froze here. It may be our app. Let me just try to bring it up on another program, see if it works any better. Here we go. Rio. It's just not coming up. There we go. Rio bounces back. It's up slightly above its 20-day moving average. Try to move higher and is pulling back. Look at Ethereum pulling back today. It did get a little bit of a boost at the end, although this isn't the end as it trades 24 hours. It's up 0.98%. And Bitcoin tried to move higher and then pulls back about 1.1%. Looks like it's trying to pull back to its 20-day moving average. Let's go to the news. Got a surprise 25 basis point reduction in rates in Switzerland. The bull bear spread and American Association of Individual Investors, AAII weekly survey was 16 versus 24 last week. Bulls fall to 43.2 from 45.9. Neutrals fall to 29.6 from 32.2. And bears rise to 27.2 from 21.9. February, the EU car market surged 10.1% compared to the same month last year. Eurozone business activity was close to returning to growth in March as the HCOB preliminary composite purchasing manager index compiled by S&P Global rose to 49.9 this month from February 49.2. And on to our sector news breakdown. Chewy was in the news. Q4 EPS 18 cents versus 5-cent loss. And Chewy is down. You would think that would be up on that news. 5 below, Q4 EPS $3.65 versus $3.78. And you would expect that to gap down. Yes, down 15.4%. Guess declares special dividend of $2.25 per share. Q4 adjusted EPS $2.01 versus estimate of $1.56. And look at that rocket take off, up nearly 21%. KB Homes, Q1 EPS $1.76 versus estimate of $1.57. And it's pulling back today. We did not look at the bond yields. Let's just take a quick look. They're pulling back today. Continues their pullback. 44.27% interest. And TBT is pulling back as well. So that's that. We'll take a look at the other indexes shortly. On to energy, industrials, and machinery. One issue, tight materials pulling back. EPS is $1.05 versus a $1.02 estimate. On to financials, Reddit priced its $22 million share initial public offering at $34 a share, and it zooms up to 50. Opened at 45, hit a peak of, I guess, 57.80. Looks like 6 billion in student loans would be canceled for 78,000 borrowers. I don't know how this can be added to our debt, but I guess you and me will be paying for this in our taxes. Latest group includes public service workers like teachers, nurses, firefighters who qualify under the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program created in 2007. Centene downgraded to equal weight from overweight at Stevens. Merck announced that phase 3 Keith Link 006 trial evaluating Keytruda antitherapy in combination maintenance of an inhibitor drug did not meet the dual primary endpoints of overall survival, and it is down slightly today. OABI Omni AB Incorporated EPS 14 cents versus estimate 15 cents. Down slightly. Trevi Therapeutics reaffirms guidance for phase 2A river trial of Haduvio in RCC patients. And that's moving up on this news, up 4.52 on the technology, media, and telecom. Micron Technologies moving up quite a bit, gapped up, closed on the low of the gap. So if you would bought this on the gap up, you'd want it to hold this bottom of the gap. Earnings came up 42 cents versus estimate 25-cent loss. And their forward guidance was strong as well. Here's Apple. Shares lower as U.S. Department of Justice will sue Apple for antitrust violations as soon as Thursday. Accenture, quarter two EPS $2.77 versus $2.66, and it's not what people were looking for. They were looking for more than a 3% earnings increase. Their stock is down 9.34%. And Synopsys, Board of Directors has approved initiation of a sale process of Synopsys software integrity business. Now forecast full year revenue, excluding SIG, at 6.06 to 6.12 billion, and they're moving it on up. And so that's our news for the day. Take a look at what else is happening. Look at VIX. Our volatility index, which filled yesterday, went down a little lower today and then is closed near the close of yesterday. S&P 500 was up and then closed at the low. Gapping up on the equal weight on the S&P 500, which is good news. It's broadening out. Got a little cup formation there, it looks like. The NASDAQ is up slightly, just under 0.5%. It closed on its low, similar to the S&P. And we got a gap up on the equal weight of the NASDAQ, up over 0.5%. IWM moving up slightly, up 0.88%. And the Dow was the strongest index of the day, gapping up, holding that gap up 0.69%. And Goldman Sachs was a leader in this and in the financials. Take a look at the financials. ETF up slightly. Our communications down slightly with Google pulling back. Utilities pulling back. Energy is moving up, and oil prices pulled back. So interesting. Energy is moving up when oil is pulling back. Pullback in biotech. Infrastructure. Wow, just keeps on rolling. IGV, our software gaps up and closes near the low. Kind of had a fade in the markets today. Was up in the morning and lower near the close. Semiconductors gap up and then close on the low. Let's see. This is out of the office moving up. These are some of the leaders. Looks like it's cleared a consolidation here on Airbnb. Jets, our airlines continue to move up. Haven't looked at Southwest for a while. It's pretty much a laggard. And Ryanair has been the leader, continues to lead. United Airlines is breaking out. Consumer staples is up slightly. Healthcare was out and then hit its 10-day moving average and it's pulling back. Industrials. Wow, look at that. Caterpillar moving up pretty strong. Deere looks like it's breaking out of a bottoming base formation. XLB materials continues to do well. Steel Dynamics is moving up. It'll be in the metals and mining area. And finally, our housing is gapping up. And wow, this is just pretty amazing. And a little bit of a consolidation here. That was your chance, I guess, maybe on this day. And then off to the races. This is one that we have, which is an IPO. It's just kind of consolidating here. Had its earnings, came out at negative 28% based on the previous earnings. Was a little bit of an earnings surprise, but we'll just see how this does moving forward. What's up? 3%. Gap, which we saw in the news. It continued moving up, and look at all this institutional buying here. Pentair is up, pretty good volume in here. A lot of buying in here. up about 3% today. SMCI, which was down earlier in the week, kind of sold off, even though it had a gap up on its earnings. And then it pulled back to its 20-day moving average, and now it's moving up today, up 3.25%. Modine Manufacturing clearing this base area around 96. Now it's starting to look extended. A lot of blue bars here. And let's go over what's up 5% on 100% increase in volume. Biotech company gaps up. Their earnings back here. And then I'm not sure what happened to move them over. Broadcom is up big today, gapping up, holding the gap in the middle of the gap, and then up further after hours. Commercial metals clears a breakout. This is in the minings and metals group. Even though the earnings came in at negative 39%, I guess it beat expectation. Got some massive volume over here. Digital Bridge breaking this little bit of consolidation in the buy area. Global Alternative Asset Manager. Euronav, Belgian provider of maritime shipping on offshore, had a huge sell-off over here, and it is moving up today. Let's see what else we got here. J. Jill, Micron, which we saw in the news, Shoe Carnival, Winnebago Industries, Worthington. Not going to go through all of them. And we'll see what's up. 10%, 200% increase in volume. Micron and Guess. Wow, look at that. All that volume coming in, and I think somebody may have known something. Gapped up, it's up 21%. Fallen off the list was Bros. It was up big time earlier. Let's just take a look. Our coffee maker. Not sure, maybe it didn't meet the qualifications, but there's been a lot of blue bars in here. It broke out and it's consolidating, and then got another leg up today, up 4%. So that's the story there. Let's just look at the FANG stocks. Meta up slightly, up $2.24. Netflix pulling back slightly. Hit up here. We did put short. Took off the 630 short, and then we put on the 650 short on the shares that we already own. Microsoft moving on up. 4.14%. Actually, $4.14. Amazon moved higher and then pulled back kind of into its base. Tesla pulling back. It just moved up, and it looks like they hit their head on the 20-day moving average, is pulling back. The good sign is the volume is pretty low. Google had moved up and it sold off, similar to what the market did today. And Nvidia up slightly today SMCI had a big sell-off when they announced their secondary offering. It moved up strongly today, moved up right above its 20-day moving average, up 8% for the day. And MicroStrategy gapped up and then closed on its low, pulled back to its 10-day moving average as it's kind of following Bitcoin right here. So we have that in our portfolio. Just to let everybody know, Kava moved higher in the morning, pulled back. Just take a look at a couple of them. Celsius tried to move higher and pulled back. Kava did the same. Square got a little bit of a bounce today, gapped up 3%. Took some profits in Shockwave as it moved above 280 and then it pulled back. Now it's back above 280. Kind of filled this gap here and then moved back up. And the other one we took profits in earlier today was Monday. So we had the 220, 230 options. We rolled it to the 230, 250 to take our profits. And then, like a number of issues, it pulled back into the market. CrowdStrike had a nice move today. Got above 330 and then pulled back to 229. So it looks starting to look like it's in the upper part of the range. This box formation, we'll just see if it can pop up, get above 330. And that is our show for today. This has been Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Hope you all have a great day, and we'll catch you back here on Friday. I'm not sure if we'll have a show on Friday, but we may have one on Sunday. In the meantime, have a great day. Go out there and continue to work on your goals and your activities to bring you to your goals. If you have any financial goals that you'd like to discuss, feel free to send us a line, and we're happy to talk to you more about them.